We welcome you to episode 12 of Battin and Chattin here on the Eastern Observer alongside Niklaus Feil and Denis Tuohy. I'm Brandon Natale. Now, before we get started, please hit the subscribe button on the YouTube to be kept on the loop of everything Eastern Observer and most importantly, Battin and Chattin. And our show can be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. So, fellas, how you guys doing today? Oh, and also, hold on, before we get to that, our show has been presented to you by Black Cats Media, NYC. Be sure to download their newest hit single, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us, which can be found wherever music is found Spotify, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and many others. And I'll stop now. Fellas.
I mean, same thing, different day, hanging out, doing my thing. Yeah, had a nice week.
Yeah, pretty much the same here. Doing pretty good. Uh, still dreading these Yankees, man. It's been rough, but yeah, man. I mean, look, it's been a good week besides that, besides baseball. I mean, hey, exciting trades happened though. It's fun to watch. But I mean, the Yankees just depressing us, but we'll get into that later. But it's been pretty good besides the Yankees, man.
Yeah, the Yankees have definitely made some interesting moves at the deadline. We're definitely going to get into that. The Mets have shocked a lot of people with these trades over these past couple of days, but it's definitely lots to discuss, and I can't wait. It's definitely going to be a great show. So obviously, happy trade deadline passed yesterday. That's that. The Mets turn out to be sellers. Everybody's gone, so I mean, that's that. Quick snap of Thanos snap. That's it.
Everyone got
And
It's
well, the Yankees and the Mets have been struggling, so I mean, we're there.
Hey, at least the Mets did something.
The Mets did a lot. Let me tell you.
They did a lot. At least they did some. I think it's better than what the Yankees did. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
we,
They did a
well, I
lot.
mean, it's not harder to do something other than nothing, right?
Well, I feel like the Yankees. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot. We're gonna get into that, but hopefully with Aaron Judge, hopefully they can pick it around. Even though they shouldn't rely on just Aaron Judge themselves, but we'll see. I don't know. Brian Cashman has a lot that he still has high hopes for the team. We're gonna get into his thoughts on the team, what he said, your thoughts on it. We're gonna talk a lot about Texas has been making some moves. Everyone seems to be raving about the GM Chris Young. We're getting into that, and also just other deadlines. And then a fun fact that I have for you guys, and my coworker told me. So, yeah. So now let's start off with the Mets. So they trade away Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, David Robinson, Mark Canha, Tommy Pham, and Dominic Leone. In return, they received Luis Angel Acuna, famously enough, Ronald Acuna's brother, Drew Gilbert and Ryan Clifford, who are outfielders, Marco Vargas, Ronald Hernandez, who's a catcher. Those two were both in the Robinson trade. Justin Jarvis, who I believe was a trade for Canha, if I'm correct. I'll double check. Jeremiah Jackson, Jeremy Rodriguez, Coleman Crow, and Landon Marquez. So, fellas, I gotta ask. I mean, first I'll get my thoughts on, the Mets deadline and their moves. Obviously, it sucks that they're selling. I mean, it got to a point where if you're not going to contend, you're not going to go anywhere. Might as well sell players that you're not going to be with the team in the future. Get something in return instead of letting them walk. I get it. And that's especially what the Mets have shown right here. I mean, they got a ton of decent prospects. The one thing they didn't get, obviously, which a lot of people are knocking them for, is the pitching. But I like what NYM News. He's a famous Mets account on Instagram. I've actually talked to him before. He's actually a good guy. Love to get him on the show eventually too. I should send this to him though too. Be like, hey, check out Bad and Chad. But I remember he said something where like, with the Sandy and the Wilpon era, the Mets farm system was based on pitching. Now, fast forward now to Steve Cohen and now obviously Billy Epler and the regime today, they're more focused on just stacking the infield with position players and whether it's the outfield or just so. Times have changed for the Mets. So I like the moves. I think they got some great players. I know they said Ryan Clifford is a player that is supposed to come up not next year, but the year after that. Luis Angel Acuna. Right away he became the number one prospect in the Mets farm system. Like I said, it sucks because obviously the Mets definitely failed in expectations due to the fact that with the highest payroll in baseball, they just signed Justin Verlander, and of course they trade him. And I would have never thought that would happen. If you would have told me that in the beginning of the season, I would have thought you were. I don't know, but I don't know. It sucks, but it is what it is. I think the Mets did good building for the future instead of trying to stick it out because the Mets farm system needed to be kind of repleted, like stacked up. But those are just my thoughts. Now I guess I'll throw it over to you guys. Nicholas, you go first. Do you think the Mets ended up in a good position after the deadline, or what do you think they could have did?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think Mets fans, obviously there's a lot of disappointment there. It's like, back in April, March, February, whatever, the offseason, this was the most hyped team in sports. Scherzer, Verlander, they were out for Correa, Pete Alonso, Lindor. It was a stacked team. Everyone had them winning the NL East. But hey, look, simple as this, it wasn't working. It wasn't working. They loaded off on 2 aging pitchers, and the fact that you guys got some pretty nice prospects for a 40 and 39-year-old Verlander and Scherzer, I think it's fantastic what the Mets are doing. Like you said, they definitely had to bolster up the farm a little bit. And look, it wasn't working, So I mean, they got good young players. They have a direction. I think I'm not too sure who it was who said it. It might have been the Mets GM, but he was like, we're going to rebuild this season and then probably next season, 2024 as well. They have a plan for 2025 and beyond. So, I mean, look, it's a direction. You got to love it. Hopefully they can maybe tap into the Braves Reds formula a little bit, call up these guys in a few years, sign them to extensions. They pan out. Acuna's little bro, if he's got the genes, if he's anything like his brother, that could be huge for you guys. So, I'm liking what the Mets are doing. They're unloading a lot of these older guys. Mark Hanna, fan favorite, clutch hitter. But look, the fact you guys got something for him too, it's awesome. Eduardo Escobar a few weeks ago as well.
Right.
I like what the Mets are doing. I like what the Mets are doing. It sucks at first, but I think it's going to pay off, down the line if they keep doing the right moves going towards the youth movement.
Things I got to say about that. I mean, when they say they're rebuilding for when they say 2025 is the year and beyond, they really mean 2030.
Yeah, for sure.
In Mets terms, I definitely agree. Like, it just wasn't working, and that's what happens. It's unfortunate. Verlander was starting to pick up maybe like in the beginning of July, mid-June. Like, that's when he started to really pick it up. Can't believe he's actually going back to the Astros. That's crazy enough. Texas, they seem to really love Mets pitching. Is someone going to talk about that?
Yeah.
That I feel like is not as talked about as much, but I mean, hey, who am I to talk? But yeah, Dennis, your thoughts?
I mean, it had to be done. I think the Mets could have salvaged their season if they attacked earlier in this season at making moves. I'll never understand why teams do this. They wait and wait and wait and wait and wait until the 11th hour to improve their team, and it's like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I get you want to see if the value is going to change or drop or what, address other needs. But I would rather screw up in April, screw up in May, screw up in June, and then fix it in July than just, try to do everything all at once August 1st and that last week of July. I'll just never understand it. We've been saying it now. This is week 12 of us doing this show, episode 12. So we've been saying it for the past 11 weeks that they need a better bullpen. I don't really know what else went wrong with them. Maybe get in like a real consistent DH or catcher so you could put Francisco Alvarez in DH. They could have made moves. They didn't. They waited too long. And because of that, they realized they have to start setting up for the future. You have Lindor locked up. You have Brett Beatty locked up. He's proven to be pretty good so far. Francisco Alvarez has proven to be pretty good so far.
Yeah.
And now that's your core right there. And if Ronnie Mauricio is as good as people think he's going to be, he's a part of that. And if Luis Angel Acuna is as good as people are saying, he's going to be a part of it. And this is what you're going to have to do. You're starting from the ground up. You still have Edwin Diaz under contract for next year and the year after or something
5
like
years.
that? Over that long. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So
about
you have
5
him
years.
for a while that if you want to offload him at some point, you could, or if you want to hold on to him, hoping that you can at least, be in contention next year. You still have Pete Alonso. You still have these players. Why not?
Mm.
I mean, I get it. I get it from their perspective. But yeah,
Mm.
this was. I don't
It
think
had to be
anybody
done.
saw this season turning out this way. This was wow, just
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, especially, I mean, highest payroll in baseball, baby. Let me tell you, it had to be done. I just think the Verlander thing sucks, in my opinion, because they just signed him in the offseason. It was the big signing, replacing DeGrom, and then
I didn't think Verlander had to be moved. That to me, after you got Scherzer and you got Acuna in that Scherzer deal, I don't know why they moved on from Verlander.
I think they had a
Who's
high price on him. I
who's
think they wanted to keep him, but he had such a high price that if, like, we really like this guy, we want him
just
next year, but unless you give us X, Y, and Z, okay, different story.
dude?
A lot of people, yeah,
They're still paying him $54 million.
yeah.
I get it's not the whole 93, but I mean, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. Because even if you're trying to rebuild with this core or maybe make, a mini run next year, kind of like what the Reds are doing ahead of schedule, whatever. Who's your pitching staff? It's Kodai Senga, Edwin Diaz, and let's be honest, mediocrity at best. At best.
Quintana, Carrasco, Peterson, McGill. That's who they have for now.
Oh yeah,
Gabriel.
that's quite the pitching rotation right there. Whoa, watch out for that staff in October. I'm just saying, like, or you could have offloaded him next year or in the offseason or done something. I don't know. This means the Mets are out on Ohtani.
I mean,
Snap.
they said that if they traded Verlander, that they're definitely out on next year. Like, if they would have kept him, it would have been better to, like, it would have been better for, for hoping next year. Meanwhile, like, but I guess they liked what Houston had to offer, and they took it. A lot of people are upset because it's Houston he got traded to. Like, out of all people, why would you trade him to the Astros?
The Mets don't care.
No.
As a Yankees fan, yeah, I'm mad you just handed them a World Series ring. But,
Yeah, and the fact that, honestly, like you said, the fact that they're not even paying the full contract, it shows that they won the whole trade. Because, like, the Mets are so, because they got him for a good price. All they had to do was just give up a couple prospects.
Astros are still playing chess, man.
that's
Like, they're playing chess. We're playing checkers. It's like we are unfortunately we are not the same with them.
dude, and here's the thing with the prospects. So many of these prospects that we're hearing getting traded from one team or another, this will be one of the last times we'll see their name in a headline. And that's not just for the Mets, it's for all 30 teams. This is going to be the last time we see some of these names in the headlines. Just think of how many prospects get traded every year don't pan out.
It's always a wild card. You're throwing darts in a dark room at that point. It's like
Yeah.
it's always a risk. Like Dylan Carlson just a few years ago. I remember 2019. He's like the next big thing. Now the Cardinals are thinking about trading him for not peanuts, but I don't know. They're thinking about trading him. He's only 24 years old. It's wild card. Prospects are a wild card, man. It's always risky when it involves that.
Jonathan India just won a Rookie of the Year 2 years ago.
Yep, now they want to trade him. Well, surprised he didn't get moved, actually.
The Reds, I'm surprised people aren't talking about them as being losers.
How so?
I mean, they had an opportunity to really go for the jugular and win that division this season and set themselves up. Ellie De La Cruz isn't going anywhere. You still have Jake Fraley under contract. Like, you still have young team, like young players, McLean. what's that name? Encarnacion Strand.
Yeah.
I mean, like, although he really hasn't been that good so far.
Spencer Steer.
Spencer Steer, like, you have guys on your roster that are young and you're going to have for a while. I'm surprised they didn't try to get those guys experience and whatnot now playing in the postseason, and they're just content with riding the wave. And hey, if your biggest opposition are the Brewers, ride that wave as long as you want, my man. I mean, let's be honest. People have been waiting for them to make noise for, 5 years now? You know, it's just, it is what it is. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't. I felt like they made like nothing.
Yeah, they weren't really in the headlines at all this trade deadline. No big splashes, nothing really.
They're not riding with the wave.
No.
Jesus, and they lost last night 20-9 to
My
the
God.
Cubs. My goodness.
Football numbers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's football numbers, man.
Yeah, I was surprised the Reds didn't I don't know, go for that like big starting pitcher kind of, like a Scherzer or maybe I don't know, even Lance Lynn or somebody. Just a move, get a veteran arm in there. Really push for that division title.
Especially their payroll is nothing.
Nothing.
They have a nothing payroll.
Hmm.
Could you imagine if the Mets offered Justin Verlander to the Reds the exact same deal that Houston got and give us some of your prospects? How could you say no to that if you're them?
Exactly.
You have this guy for 2 years in a division. Listen, I crush the NL Central and the AL Central all the time, and I should, because those divisions are just bad.
Yeah.
Like you instantly get the best player in that division, instantly.
Yep.
Right? I don't know how good Corbin Burns has been this year, or
Still a little rocky. He's been on fire lately, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, like, Verlander with that lineup, and you have Alexis Diaz closing games for you, like, it's kind of hard to not be the favorite to win that division.
Exactly.
And you would have him for next year as well.
Yep.
So I don't know. There's a lot of teams that I thought could have done more. Eduardo Rodriguez, I'm sure you guys saw, he vetoed the trade to the Dodgers.
Insane,
his
bro.
no trade clause.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That I was not expecting that at all.
Wow.
Why do you think he wouldn't want to go to the Dodgers? Well, what was up with that?
I guess as good as mine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's just comfortable playing with the Tigers. Maybe he likes their staff. I don't know.
He's probably just a big Eminem fan. He loves Detroit, man.
Yeah,
that's probably it. That's all I can think of. I don't know what else goes on in Detroit except for me.
Now, before we move on to any other trades, I think it's time we just head over to the Bronx side of the show.
So now we could.
Let's rip this Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I was hoping I could distract Brandon so he didn't ask us.
Well, can't avoid that. So overall, despite obviously a quiet trade deadline from the Yankees, Brian Cashman insists that the Yankees are going for it all and winning the title. Do you guys, now as Yankee fans, do you guys trust in Brian Cashman, or is he head over heels or over his head right now?
In over his head.
Okay. Yeah, he's head over heels. Let's be real.
There's a great song by
Tears for Fears.
Yes.
Yeah, great band. Love that 80s new wave. But no, man. But Cashman, it's like hit or miss with this guy. I mean, like, he does make some great moves. He's made some bad moves. Whatever. For this season alone, from what he said, look, let's be real. Where playoffs is looking like a big what if now. We're not winning the championship. That's not happening.
I mean, you guys are like at last place essentially, right? You close, or
we're last place in American League East. Last I checked.
I think it's decently close though. Like it's a winnable race.
Yeah, it's a winnable race. Look, we could make the wild card spot. It's a big what if though. Would I put my money down on it? No. World Series is out of the question this year. I don't even know what I would do if we even won the World Series this year. I would question my whole baseball knowledge. But and I'm also a realist. I feel like they should have done something, like whether it's just maybe, if they really wanted to contend and get into that wild card really want to get in that race. They should have made a lot more win now moves. I know Bellinger was a big tie-in for the Yankees. That was a big rumor, but obviously the Cubs went on that 7-game win streak. That kind of just derailed any momentum of that happening. But I mean, God, like, not that I wanted to sell at all, but like, God, if you wanted to get this World Series appearance, like Cashman's saying, to get there, you got to make more moves and just roll out the same team that has not been producing wins at all. So, I mean, I think it's just kind of a lost season. Definition of insanity is, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. This current roster is not winning a championship. So, I mean, they should have done something. I don't know what they're going to do for next year now. We're going to roll out the same team again next year, too. I don't know. So, Cashman's definitely a little way over his head there when it comes to talking about deep playoff runs and championships. It's not this team, not from what I've been watching, not what I say.
Listen, I just want to start it off by saying this. The 1998 Yankees, not Dennis's opinion, and the opinion of most baseball fans, is the singular greatest baseball team ever.
Wow.
Right? Most people would say that.
I agree.
They left through that season. Their home run leader was Tino Martinez, who had 28. And the reason why I'm saying that's it. In a year where McGuire and Sosa hit 60. A year where everybody and their mother was hitting 45 and more. The reason why they won was because their team, and their lineup especially, was balanced. That's the problem with the Yankees. They're not balanced. It's Aaron Judge and a bunch of guys that maybe could go on a heater. Everybody wanted IKF gone last year. He's literally indispensable for the Yankees. He's way too important. He could play just about any position, and he's a plus at every position. Way too important. Gleyber Torres at times looks like the best offensive second baseman in the league, and at other times looks completely lost. Giancarlo Stanton can literally carry an offense, and at other times is as useful as any of the three of us at the plate. I'm serious.
Yeah,
Donaldson either hits a home run or strikes out every single at bat, or it grounds out to third base.
Yep.
That's it. And it's just, this is going to sound so cheesy, but it's just not the Yankee way, the way this team has been constructed the past couple of years. I don't know if it's the analytics. They tried the Gallo thing, which is like the 3 true outcome. Baby, he's batting 192 or something like that this year, and he still has an OPS over 100, OPS plus over 100, just because of getting walked. Listen, at some point, I understand the analytics are the way baseball is now, and that's how it's ran, is all this stuff. But at some point, you also have to just have the baddest dudes on the field.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, when the Astros were playing the Yankees last year in the ALCS, and the Yankees got swept, as much as it sucked that the Yankees got swept, it was also like, yeah, they should have gotten swept. If I wasn't a Yankees fan, I would have thought it would have been a sweep. Maybe you win the cold start. But it was just, there's nothing, they're just, who they're trying to catch right now, the Rays and the Astros, they're just so inferior to. Almost on every front. The only thing saving this team is Aaron Judge. He's too good. He's turned a team game into an individual game. He's that freaking good at hitting. And they're still losing. I mean, teams are just not even pitching to him anymore. He's that good. And the protection that he had in the lineup last year, which says something, because all of the second half of July and the first half of August, the team was atrocious. The protection he had last year is just not there this year, which really says something. Last year, Stanton went on a couple of heaters. Rizzo had a couple of good games or good stretches. He's been awful aside from April this year, Anthony Rizzo. Bader came out of nowhere last year and was really good for them in the leadoff spot. LeMahieu is borderline unplayable now, although the past 2 weeks or so he's been get him back to where he normally is. It's one thing after another. The catcher spot is a black hole. I don't get it. And we keep dicking around our prospects too. Call them up and keep them, or send them down. Enough. This is what happened with Miguel Andujar. This is what happened with Clint Frazier. This is what happened. Remember Devi Garcia?
Florial.
The future of the Yankees, Devi Garcia?
Yep.
They sent him down, and he's been lost into the abyss. I don't even know if the guy's still playing baseball.
It's actually funny you bring his name up. I was talking to my buddies. After Bellinger was taken off the market when the Cubs said, "Oh, okay, we're done with Bellinger." Dylan Carlson, I know I mentioned him earlier, prospects who haven't really panned out yet. The one move I was kind of like, maybe this might happen was, trade Devi Garcia. They're not using this kid. The Cardinals wanted young pitching. So I'm like, give Dylan Carlson a shot in left field. It's better than whatever we've been putting out the last 2 seasons. So I'm like, and we just keep him down. It's ridiculous. Peraza doesn't get his chance. Florial was wasted. Andujar fell into the abyss. It's terrible.
Give these guys a chance. Give these guys a chance.
Might as well call
Either
Jason.
They're good or they're bad. But what they're trying to do is they try to hide them because they know they're too good for the minors, a lot of them, and too bad for the majors. So they try to hide their value so they can trade them. It's other teams do this too, man. Other teams do this too.
Do you feel like the Yankees rush their prospects too much?
I think it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, no, definitely exact opposite. We hold on way too long. Devi Garcia is 24 years old already. Like Yuri Perez on the Marlins, this kid came into the league at 20 years old. Granted, he's a much more elite prospect, but he's killing at age 20, man. There's no excuse not to call this kid up when he's 21, 22 years old. Like, you got to figure. There's only one way to find out. Just call him up, see what you got.
And dude, they did. They did. They literally had Devi Garcia. I'm not saying that he's the second coming of David Cohn. I'm just saying we don't know. We literally don't know how good or bad he was. What we do know, and what was reported, was that they messed with his mechanics when he was down in the minors. I mean, he's played, 0.1 innings for the Yankees?
Yeah, today? So
5.2 innings this year.
Yeah. Very minimal, yeah.
Dude, it's unreal. Unreal. He had 34. I thought he pitched a lot more in 2020. A 4.98 ERA for a 21-year-old? That's what's scaring you off?
Exactly.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And I used to be a Cashman defender, too. Because I used to look at it as, yeah, everybody kills them for, not having prospects and whatnot. But when you're as good as the Yankees have been for 25 years, basically how long as he's at the team, it's hard to – you're not drafting high. So you got to make do with what you got. All right, fine. I respect it. But at the same time, too, it's clearly not working. And they're doubling, tripling. Dude, they've been saying for how many years we need a left fielder? What year did Brett Gardner leave? After 20?
After 20, yeah.
Really? Was it after 21? Or no?
I'll look it up.
Because we traded for Gallo in 21, so yeah, it was 21. Yeah, 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 21.
Oh.
It's just I don't get it. I think Tommy Pham would have fit the Yankees decently well, but
Yeah, he wasn't going to be a Yankee.
Uncle Steve ain't traded with the Yankees.
No, I wouldn't mind it.
Some pride they have. Where's Verlander and Scherzer at right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hard to have pride when you're the laughing stock of the league. I'm sorry.
Mets are far from the laughing. They're the one of the laughing stocks, but I wouldn't say the laughing stock. I'm not sure.
No. I mean, how much million was that?
When it came to expectations, they're
listen. I'm not trying to hate on the Mets. I've been very polite about as bad as their season. I've been laughing at the Cardinals all year, but come on, man. You can't be an elitist when you're spending almost $500 million on a team. You got to sell it all off. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Hopefully
the Yankees put together a good package. They would have taken it.
You never know until they tried.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen. All right. So that covers the Yankees. I think we agree.
think so. We got. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I should put a little respect. We got two relievers, guys.
Yes, we
We
did.
got we got two relievers on a team that's not going anywhere. We got Kenyon Middleton and we got Spencer Howard.
Uh,
Wow.
we're one of the better bullpens in baseball, and that's where we decided to improve on. Awesome.
Yeah. What did I say last week or 2 weeks ago? What did I say? The Yankees are just gonna do nothing except bring in a couple of relievers we've never heard of.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. Ugh,
I've seen
All
it
right.
before.
So
it's
now
horrible.
I have to ask now. So you know what? Let's dive into all the trades because obviously we're going to talk about the Texas Rangers GM Chris Young. So now, most notable trades that we noted here, we got Lance Lynn to the Dodgers, Lucas Giolito to the Angels, Rich Hill to the Padres, Carlos Santana to the Brewers, Max Scherzer is to the Texas Rangers, Verlander to the Houston Astros, and many more. There's so many trades that happened and transpired over the course of the past 24 hours. Any trade that caught you guys by surprise besides the Verlander or Scherzer?
Um,
Not really by surprise, but I do like Lance Lynn to the Dodgers. I mean, Dodgers are just, they're one of those teams that can kind of just turn most pitchers, whether they're a prospect, whether they traded for him, homegrown, whatever. They usually reap the benefits from that. So I know he's been having a tough year in Chicago, but I can kind of see the flip being script in LA. He's a big game pitcher. He's got a good track record. Throws a lot of strikeouts. He's a little up there more in age, but hey, I mean, look, Dodgers they know what they're doing. Lance Lynn, I could see him having a nasty, nasty second half in LA, pitching at Dodger Stadium too. It's a great move for them. Bolsters up their starting rotation a bit. And then Giolito to the Angels. I gotta say, a lot of respect to the Angels, man. A lot of respect to the Angels. I like where their head's at. They have a direction, as well as the Mets have. When the Mets selling, but the Angels, man, they're making win now moves. They want to keep that boy Shohei Ohtani for the right team in LA. So I really like their attitude. I hope it kind of pays off for them. Give us some more fresh blood in the American League playoffs. So
Yeah.
I'm liking the Sox's send outs right there to those teams.
yeah. One trade I thought was weird was the Seattle Mariners trading 33-year-old right-handed closer Paul Sewald to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Sewald has 21 saves this season, 60 strikeouts, a 2.93 ERA, and they traded him for Josh Rojas. Hold on, I lost it. Here we go. Josh Rojas, Dominic Canzoni, and minor leaguer Ryan Bliss. I don't really get it. Canzone, I don't know how it's pronounced. He's 25 years old, batting 238 with one home run and 8 RBIs with the OPS of 670 this season. And Josh Rojas has been used as kind of like a right-handed only specialist or left-handed only specialist. I forget which one. They only play him against certain kinds of pitchers. So I don't really know what the Mariners were thinking on that.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because the Diamondbacks, they made out great. They got their closer. That was what they've been hurting at. We're looking at this team right now. So
Yeah.
they got a nice lockdown closer. But yeah, I mean, I know at the end of the day he's a closer, he's a relief pitcher at the end of the day. But yeah, the return for Seattle is a little lackluster for sure.
Yeah, and Rojas is already 29 years old, and he's used only against right-handed pitchers.
Yeah, he's a career pinch hitter guy. You're not really. Yeah, I didn't realize how bad that return was actually for Seattle.
It was just weird. It was just a weird trade that I was surprised. And then they also traded for a reliever. They traded for Trent Thornton, who was DFA'd from the Blue Jays, in return for Mason McCoy. It was just bizarre. It was a bizarre trade deadline.
That was some weird moves. Josh Bell to the Marlins is a pretty interesting trade.
Yeah, but then they got it for Gene Segura, and then the Guardians cut Gene Segura.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of one of those weird trades.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Some of these trades, man. That's what I was saying earlier. Some of these trades are just bizarre.
You know what's bizarre and strange to me?
What's that?
What is Rich Hill still doing in the league? Isn't he like for 80?
Dude, he's just he just gets buckets. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, Dick Mountain, man. That guy's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he was a Met for half the season.
Way worse than I thought he was.
Also a Yankee.
Rich Hill's been everywhere, man.
Yeah,
He's been in the league since 2005. Oh my god.
Yeah.
44 years old. He's got a 4.76 ERA. 7 wins, 10 losses. But now he's just going to be used as like a fifth starter, long reliever guy.
Yeah,
he's going to hit free agency after this year, and guess what? A team's going to sign him to be a fifth starter and long reliever guy. He's going to get traded at next year's deadline, and he's going to be a fifth starter and a long reliever guy. And it's going to be 2050, and guess what Rich Hill's going to be doing? Being a fifth starter and a long reliever guy.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, I mean, look, the Padres rotation, man, it's kind of nasty. You got Snell, Darvish, Musgrove, Waka, Seth Lugo, Rich Hill at that fifth spot, man. Then, the Padres make the playoffs. Got him that long reliever role, man. Could definitely be clutch, eat up some innings, save the pen, man. I like it. I like it for the Padres.
And they got my boy G-Man Choi.
G-Man Choi. G-Man Choi for the Padres.
6 home runs and 73 at-bats.
Yankee legend.
You want to talk about somebody I would kill to have right now?
Yeah.
Just a left-handed hitter, just specifically so Garrett Cole doesn't have to go up against him at any point.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously.
Dude, just turns into Babe Ruth anytime he sees Garrett Cole. Crazy. That could be the secret weapon for us.
Yeah.
He just hangs out with Garrett Cole, and G-Man Choi turns into, a monster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Call
what do you guys think of
What were you going to say, Dennis?
what do you guys think of the Orioles? The moves they made, huh? Bringing in Jack
Flaherty. I like it. I think Flaherty, not as much as Dylan Carlson, but it's like two young guys on the Cardinals. I think they kind of have their ups and downs, but still have that insane upside. I think Flaherty's got insane upside, more so than Dylan Carlson, but could be a nasty arm for the Orioles. They definitely need another starting pitcher. Lineup's nice. Rotation looks a lot better now. It's a nice name to add there. It's a good move. It's a stacked division. The weapons you can get. Good move for the Orioles, man.
I didn't realize that he was only 27.
Yeah, he's got a lot left in the tank. A nice career resurgence in Baltimore too. Not that he wasn't doing horrible in St. Louis, but if Baltimore can really shape him to maybe a franchise guy, that's a big move for them, man.
Yeah, I was expecting them to get Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah.
Just because, a lefty at that ballpark, you have that giant cavern in left field. You could kind of take advantage of that. Did Montgomery get traded?
Yeah, Texas Rangers.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
Texas Rangers are whoo.
I knew I saw him somewhere, but it was just all the pictures were him in Cardinals gear and whatnot, so I didn't think.
I feel like the Rangers definitely made some moves. Obviously, we can see.
Oh, Rangers are.
And know what? And you know what they did about a month ago now?
What's that?
Traded for Aroldis Chapman. They saw a need and they addressed it right away. Love it. Good teams are run good.
I was about to say, because think about it. A couple of years ago, no one thought they were going to be buyers when Corey Seager was a free agent, when Semien was a free agent. Those are the first 2 steps right there. I was like, okay. I'm like, no one really thought this was going to happen. They had the money. They spent it on him. I like it. It's a win. It's a win now approach. It's I like the Oakland Athletics, but they did that. Then they signed DeGrom. Obviously had that horrible injury, Tommy John. But hey, look, it's a move. Now they trade for Scherzer, Montgomery, Chapman a couple months ago. God, I'm jealous of how that team is run right now. I am jealous how well that team is being run. They just were saying, screw everybody. We want to win. We want to put the best team out there. I respect it. I'm Obviously, if the Yankees don't make it, which they won't, definitely pulling for the Rangers or the Angels, man. Yeah. I'm loving the attitude from those two teams.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, they still have Josh Jung, young third baseman. I mean, he started off the season red hot. Now he's just a strikeout machine.
Yeah.
Dude, it's brutal. It's a tough watch.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jonah Heim, Adolis Garcia, as you mentioned, Seager, Semien, like they got a really good lineup.
Nathaniel Lowe.
Yeah,
Team's nuts.
they got a good team, man. They got a really good team. And now you have this rotation anchored by Aroldis Chapman. Wow.
Yeah, the rotation is what now? Scherzer, Montgomery, Andrew Heaney.
Did you see Heaney just had a monster start last
Yeah,
night?
11 strikeout game. Yeah, the guy's a monster, dude. Dane Dunnan, he's young. He's got some upside there. John Gray's been solid overall. And dude, think about it, man. DeGrom comes back, hopefully, maybe 2025, late 2024, if that. Add him in the mix too. It's a bright future with Texas, man. They're just making a well-oiled machine right now. You gotta love it.
Yeah, that's how you have a big payroll.
Yeah,
you foster a nice little crop there, and you buy guys and put them around it. That's what the Yankees should do.
Exactly.
Around Aaron Judge, but no, we'll just
Josh Donaldson, baby.
Yeah, Josh Donaldson.
Oh my God. Insane team though. Shout out to Texas Rangers, man. Chris Young, he's a beast. He's just been an animal with these offseason signings and trades. It's a good time to be a fan of Texas baseball right now.
Reminds me a lot of the dude from San Diego. Their
Yeah.
general manager, whose his name I'm forgetting. I always forget this guy's name. But yeah, man, they got a nice little squad now. Texas does.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of credit to GM Chris Young. Now I gotta ask you guys.
AJ Preller.
What?
AJ Preller is the name of the Padres GM. I forgot.
That's the Padres. That's the Padres.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought it's the Rangers. My apologies.
I totally forgot about.
I said Padres. I mentioned the Padres.
You said Padres. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I threw you off.
Chris Young. I feel like he's GM. That's like up and coming. Can you guys tell me more about Chris Young and the impact he's had on the team of Texas?
Nick, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, he's been the GM since 2021. It's kind of, I'm just kind of repeating myself here, but like, he made those two big moves. I feel like that's kind of like what really started the foundation a little bit, was signing Corey Seager, Marcus Semien. Your infield set for your second base and shortstop, your inner infield. You're set, dude. Like, Semien, year in, year out, it's probably the best is the best second baseman in baseball, along with Altuve. Corey Seager, World Series MVP, clutch hitter. He's an animal. Had a great career of LA. Now you got him inked in for 10 years they got him for. Those were the first two big moves, and then now they got into the pitching. They made a great sign in Nathan Eovaldi too. Eovaldi, before his injury, he was having a monster. We said on the show a couple weeks ago, possible AL Cy Young. Got DeGrom. Any other year, for DeGrom, that's a potential Cy Young right there. And now, the team is just, they make great draft picks too. Josh Young. Is Adolis Garcia Texas homegrown? I think they traded for him young early in his career, but still, I mean, look, man, they're just signing the big names. They're trading for the big names. They got the young crop playing well with them. It's a well-oiled machine, man. Like I just said, he's doing magic down there in Texas, magic, and they're going to be set for a while, I feel like.
Yeah. To expand upon one of your previous statements, he actually came up with the Cardinals, his first Major League Baseball game for Adolis Garcia.
Yes, because I know he was friends with Randy Rosarina. I know he started off with the Cardinals as well, so I figured it was something.
And Alcantara. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a tough look. But listen, that the Rangers, man, Chris Young's making all the right moves, pushing all the right buttons.
That's it.
Jonah Heim, Josh Jung, you got some nice young players. Martin Perez was electric last year, has been pretty bad this year. Going into this season, a lot of people were talking he was a big shift guy. He benefited a lot from the shift because he's a sinker baller, keep the ball on the ground kind of guy. So I guess not entirely unexpected, but certainly not this drastic of a drop-off. And you know what? They'll prevail. Jacob deGrom got hurt. Doesn't matter. Nathan Eovaldi's just going to go nut job for this season. Nathan Eovaldi's getting, injured and whatnot. All right, whatever. We'll make a move at the deadline. We'll bring in Max freaking Scherzer. Dang, man.
Just that name alone. When you hear Max Scherzer, I don't care. That still puts fear into any batter's hearts and souls. Max Scherzer, man.
Yeah, and then come on, dude. That division, you don't got to worry about the A's.
Nope.
Right. So it's really just a race between you, the Angels, which if you're an opposing general manager, you can kind of pencil in, well, Trout's going to miss 30, 40 games, right? And, they're not exactly an elite team. The Mariners, yeah, you can be better than the Mariners. And it's just a race between you and the Astros. And that's exactly what's happened this year.
Yeah.
The Rangers and the Astros doling it out. One big budget.
I know he's only gotten traded mid-season once in his career, but Max Scherzer, last time he got traded was not too long ago, 2 years ago, from the Nationals to the Dodgers. The last time he was, I'm not going to say he was a rental because obviously he signed. That's another big thing. He's there next year too. So that's huge for the Rangers. But last time he got traded mid-season, man, with the Dodgers, 7-0, 1.98 ERA, 0.820 WHIP. I mean, he's going to have an insane second half with that run support, too, in Texas. God, man. They're a juggernaut right now. The Rangers are definitely a juggernaut.
Could you imagine if DeGrom stayed healthy?
I was just thinking that. You have a rotation of DeGrom, Scherzer, Eovaldi, Montgomery. Heaney's your potential fifth starter, which is insane, or John Gray or somebody like that. That's nuts.
I mean, you really got 7 or 8 starters on that lineup.
That's nuts.
You didn't even mention Perez or Dunning.
Exactly. And Perez was an all-star last year, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Rich of pitching, awesome offense. They're locking down the bullpen now with Chattin. God, it's really hard not to root for them. It's really hard. They're awesome, man. It's how a baseball team should be run. Because a couple years ago, they were kind of a joke in the league. 2020, 2021. No one really took them seriously. They're kind of like, it's the Astros division, whatever. Now they're on the cusp, man, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now, before we get back to any more trade deadline talk, Framber Valdez pitches one of the shortest no-hitters we've seen to date. Because
we're staying in the state of Texas, baby. We're staying in the state of Texas right now.
Yeah, Texas is popping right now with baseball, let me tell you.
Texas is popping.
Yeah, I was watching it last night on MLB Network, the Framber Valdez no-hitter. And, hey, man, one of those nights, this is what makes them so dangerous. The Astros, I mean, like, you got Framber, now you're bringing back Verlander, too? Oh, my God.
Same day, too. You literally trade back for the guy who won you 2 World Series.
Threw a no-hitter.
Yeah, threw a no-hitter, 2 Cy Youngs with Houston. And the same day, your ace, or potential second ace now, throws a no-hitter. It's like, all right. I thought Domingo Germán throwing a perfect game was a special night. That, I don't know. But
well, that's a perfect game.
Yeah, no, perfect game. I know.
Although Valdez only had 27 outs because of a double play.
Yep. Still, just magical night for Houston, man. Get him back, Verlander, he's definitely going to Cooperstown. I think that's undebatable. He could be wearing that. He could be wearing that Houston cap in Cooperstown. So I mean,
really, not even Detroit.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
That's ludicrous, Nick. That's too far.
Yeah, that's I'm not gonna lie.
A lot of hardware there. 2 World Series, 2 Cy Youngs.
He spent
I
more
don't
years
know.
there.
The
Spent more years
Tigers.
in Detroit.
Yeah,
That's
he
where
was
he
with the
came from.
Tigers for what, 12 years,
12
13
years, yeah,
years.
from 05 to 05
Yeah,
to
but I
06,
mean, I don't know, man. How many rings? How many rings in Detroit?
Yeah, but that's not a good argument. That's like saying Carlos Beltran won
I
a
know
ring with
I
the
know
Astros.
he has the Cy Young, the MVP, but I don't know, man. Still, in
Nah, I say
Detroit,
Verlander goes in as a Tiger.
2.26
he's a
career
Tiger.
ERA in Houston. I don't
He's a
think
Tiger.
I don't think it's that crazy. And you might add another
I think
one.
you're
I think
crazy.
I think that's insane.
I don't know. It's possible, man. They love him. Maybe he loves the city because I know he said he wanted to stay in Flushing, but he had to waive the okay to Houston. I know obviously Detroit's not a contender this year, so they wouldn't trade for him. But I mean, I don't know. Depends how much he loves the city. You can talk about all the stats and accolades you want, but I mean, that's up to him at the end of the day. So I think he loves it there. They love him. We'll see. Definitely has impressive hardware there, though.
Yeah, just some stats for you from last night. Valdez dealing all night long. Right? Like Lionel Richie. You guys know that song?
There you go. All night long.
Love that song. It was a 2-0 game. It was a close one. It was a must win. The race between the Astros and the Rangers, as we were talking about. Big game. Valdez on the bump. 9 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts. No hits. 1 walk, just 1.
Happy to say I started him in fantasy, obviously, but nice 45 points right there.
Yeah, ours was 45 as well. I have like a special little, I guess, mark that if you pitch a no-hitter, you get like extra amount of extra points.
Yeah, I think it's the same in my league as well.
I think I made it 15 points for a no-hitter or something.
Wow. I'm surprised his ERA is above 3.07, but still, I thought it was a little bit lower than that.
Yeah. I was surprised by how many losses he had this season.
Yeah, 7. Ties his career high.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
What team do you guys think had the best deadline?
Question. Texas is up there.
Yeah, as I say,
We're
Texas
talking in terms of trading for not for prospects, for players now. I want to talk about prospects. You'd argue the Mets because they got a boatload of players. That's the definition of a seller. If you want to talk about it for a buyer, then I'd have to go with Texas.
Yeah, Texas is the first thing that came to my mind because Scherzer and Montgomery, you're adding those two to an already insane rotation is just kind of OP. But I gotta say, like, Angels are up there for me. They made like the win now moves because I think I consider them a winner. It's because these win now moves, you're already kind of reeling in Ohtani back for next year already and beyond. So like you're kind of already winning the offseason too at that point if things work out in the end. And there's no better way to make your chances better than by buying and becoming a contender. So like what the Angels are doing, I've been kind of, meat riding those two teams all night with the Angels and the Rangers, but I love the moves they're making. I love the energy that's going on with those two teams for sure. Yeah, like the Reds and Diamondbacks, I feel like we're a little lackluster. Wouldn't consider them up there, despite the Diamondbacks getting a nice closer in Sewald. Yeah, I think the only teams that are kind of Dodgers with Lynn. It's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as Rangers or Anaheim, though.
Can I throw out the Marlins?
Oh, yeah, Marlins made some good moves.
David Robertson, Josh Bell, Jake Berger. Not like huge names, but just the way that team functions.
Good depth.
I mean, they're only what? How many games out of the wild card are they? Like 1.5, something like that. A half game out of the wild card.
The Phillies got Lorenzen, right?
That was their only move.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I didn't like that. I thought they should have done more.
Yeah, I feel like the Phillies should have definitely done more. They were quiet. Yankees did nothing, obviously. Orioles got Flaherty. That was good.
Right. Did the Orioles do it? Did they do anything?
The Orioles?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Another low key move I really like, Tampa Bay Rays getting Savale. Savali's a good pitcher, man.
Dude, if the Tampa Bay Rays call up about one of your pitchers, you need to hang up and reevaluate
Yeah,
things.
they know something. They know something you don't. And Savale, I mainly knew his name for fantasy purposes. I'd pick up the stream a lot, but like there was times where I kept onto this guy for a long time. He's shown some serious upside. He gets that Tampa Bay Rays formula going now. Oof, that's a good move. I think it's a good sneaky move for Tampa.
I feel like the Blue Jays were getting pretty active too.
Yeah, Blue Jays are getting a little busy.
They brought in Jordan Hicks. They brought in
that's a
Young.
that's a good pickup for them. They picked up some like shortstops, right? Because I know Bobashik got a little banged up.
Yeah, but I don't really think it was a. I don't think it was not like a superstar. Just
some depth.
just
God
something,
forbid. Yeah. I know Bobashik should be okay. Last I wrote, so that's good.
Yeah, they said he's not going to be out for much longer. I was reading that earlier today. So 3-game losing streak though for the Bluebirds.
Not looking good for the Yanks. It's kind of all signs are pointing towards Yanks missing the playoffs, and then Blue Jays, Angels, all making it. Yeah, it's rough. So yeah, it seems like all the American League East teams outside of New York and Boston got better. So not a good sign at all. Did Boston make any moves? I thought they made.
They brought in Urias from Milwaukee.
It's a good move. Yeah.
Oh, but they shipped him to the minors.
So weird. Oh, so weird. Oh well.
What's up with Jake Berger? What the heck is that going on?
He's got some.
Oh, that's it for Nicholas. You want to continue?
Jake Berger. Honestly, I was glad Nick was kind of spearheading that because I'm not 1,000% locked in on Jake Berger, but he has 25 home runs this season with a 214 batting average, 1.3 WAR. That's not bad, and an OPS plus of 115. So, which is his career average.
Yo, my apologies.
Wait, hold on 1 second, fellas. Give me 1 second. Let me just adjust.
I was trying to change my tabs. I hit the X. I was like, come on, no way. But sorry if I'm interrupting anything. But yeah, Jake Berger, he's got some serious pop. I think his average is pretty low, but he's a good home run guy. So I think the Marlins need more of that, right?
Desperately. 115 OPS plus. I was just telling Brandon. 25, I said, right? 25 home runs this season.
He's got 25 already?
Yeah, he's having a nice little year, man. 25 bombs, and 214 batting average.
Did not
63 hits. I have no idea. 294 at-bats. I have no idea how many games he's played. 64 hits doesn't seem like
88 games.
So he's played just about every game.
Yeah. Wow. That's a crazy power here.
I didn't hear a peep about Jake Berger going into
Same here. I would see him in fantasy sometimes, scrolling down to like the free agents or whatever for a streamer.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, I might have to pick him up.
But yeah, I might see if anybody else is locked in on Jake Berger in my fantasy leagues.
Yeah, like the Marlins. I mean, I'm looking. I know Soler was having a crazy power year for them, but outside of that, that's really it, right? When it comes to power wise.
Oh, Jake Berger isn't taken. Ooh.
Okay. Wow. He has the same amount of home runs as Jorge Soler, 25 apiece. That's nuts. Wow. Good for the Marlins. Good move. Good power move. You obviously got your contact guy and Luis Reyes. The amount of hits and batting average says it for itself. Brian De La Cruz got some pop. He's got 106 hits. He's having a great year. Jazz Chisholm Jr. He's finally healthy again. Thank God for my fantasy team. He's going to provide stats all across the board right there for them. Yeah, Marlins can make some noise again.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see. All right. Is there anything else before we wrap up?
Nothing I could think of.
I think that's it, boys.
All right. Definitely good trade deadline episode. Hopefully, we'll see what's to come. Hopefully, the Yankees make an effort to make it to the playoffs. Hopefully, the Mets. It's a lost season, but now I'm excited for football now. So thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, baby.
Yeah, man. Be sure to check out our revamped website, www.easternobserver.com, for the latest news in the world of baseball and so much more. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Battin and Chattin. For my co-host Niklaus Feil and Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team, I'm Brandon Natale saying so long, and we'll see you next